Do you still question if you've actually met your twin flame or not? Do you actually doubt sometimes that you might be going crazy or that you're wrong just because you're in separation? Well, the thing is, it is very hard to decipher whether you're going crazy or whether this is true. So today I'm going to show you a few signs that will actually reassure you that you are on the twin flame journey. My name is Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialize in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. I think one of the hardest parts of this journey is trusting that we have met them. Like for me personally, after I met my twin flame, I didn't know. I knew there was something different. I knew that there was a real connection there, but because I had gone through a catalyst experience, I had doubts. So I removed the label and I was like, maybe he's just a soulmate. So it took for a good few months to realize, okay, this is too spiritual not to be my twin flame. And then it still took for me about a year after I met him before I actually went, okay, now I have zero doubts. But I think a lot of us go through this journey and we need that tangible reassurance. We need those signs, like especially when we're going through the spiritual awakening, that bipolar energy, those ups and downs, and those self-worth issues as well. We really can literally question our sanity effectively. And like, I remember when I first started when I realized I was a twin flame, I read and researched everything. And then I read and researched all of that stuff again. And then I read and researched it all again and again and again and again. And I still needed more. And I was watching tarot readings over and over again. I had to pull cards for myself every week. I don't do that anymore. You know what I mean? But like, I still need the signs. Like if I see his name, I'm like, yes, thank God. Or if I see his birth date, I'm like, okay, I'm excited. It's real. Or I see his company van everywhere, stuff like that. I get reassured, but I still need that. I need him to come in my dreams for me to go, okay, thank God, I'm not crazy. But I do know he's my twin flame, but I still doubt, I suppose, I still doubt what's going to happen. So today I'm going to go through a few signs that we definitely go through when we meet our twin flame. So the first one is instant recognition and familiarity. When you meet them, you just know. You know who they are. It's like, oh my God, I know you. Like I've known you before. Like I remember, like the morning I met my twin flame, my whole soul was in this different energy. Like I even dressed differently that morning, and I was like, like, don't put on that ugly cardigan that you wear just because you're cold. Like it was like literally, just be careful. Like, and I was like, why? Like, you know what I mean? You're not going on a date, right? And I said that morning. I looked down at my very ugly slippers that I was wearing. I was like, maybe you should put on your runners. I was like, you're not going on a date. Anyway, then he rang, said he was coming. And I heard his voice and I literally I came off the phone and I was like, because he's the same name as my ex. I was like, geez, it'd be weird to date another, And I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is, you haven't even met this guy. So literally I recognized him through his voice. And then the minute I opened the door and saw his face, I was like, ooh, he's cute. And I just straight away, and the whole time he was here, I was literally thinking, I'm into him. I really like him. There's just this, oh my God, like, there's something there. And he felt it as well. You know what I mean? There was that instant recognition, that instant connection from the start. And, there was such a familiarity. Even like, I don't know. When you just, it's that familiarity is so weird. It's like I know you. I know who you are. So that's one thing you'll understand. It's like instant recognition, whether it's through their voice, through their energy, or through seeing them physically. As it was for me, it was instant recognition through hearing his voice and then seeing his face. So next is intense mirroring and triggers. So you will be intensely triggered by your twin flame. You will see in them parts of yourself, the good and the bad. This is the thing. You're going to see your flaws, and you're just going to see parts of yourself. Like one thing I noticed from my twin flame, he's such a beautiful, kind-hearted soul. Do you know what I mean? And I see that in myself as well. But like, it's just lovely to see somebody who's not an asshole. You know what I mean? I only ever knew toxic partners before. So to see somebody, it's like a reflection of a pure soul, and that's a reflection of me. What else? Like, you know, there's obviously there's mirroring in so far as there's so much of your past that will be similar as well. But those triggers that come in, not only do they mirror your pure side, they mirror the things that you need to heal. So they mirror your trauma. So like stuff that they went through is so similar to what you went through. Like I saw that with my twin flame, stuff that he told me, I'm like, that sounds really familiar. And I'm like, oh, okay, I went through the same thing, but in obviously a different way. And they'll trigger everything within you. They'll trigger your insecurities. They trigger how you feel about yourself. They'll trigger your past wounds, your present wounds. They'll just trigger absolutely everything. You will be triggered into a massive spiritual awakening. And that's another one, actually, is your awakening will be triggered. You know, your growth journey, your evolution will be triggered. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd already been on the spiritual path myself, and I swore, I've done all the work, I'm fine. But he triggered my heart awakening and multiple heart awakenings. I've gone through multiple heart awakenings and multiple dark nights of the soul since I met my twin flame physically. And for the less awakened twin, you will trigger their spiritual awakening. So what does that mean? That means triggering your whole life. It means changing your views. It means everything you've ever known, you know, gets thrown into, well, it crumbles effectively. You know, I know my twin flame is very open-minded, but I also know that he's involved in he's got friends and community and family that are very 3D conditioned. Do you know what I mean? So like, even though he's open-minded, I wonder, has he ever had those conversations? Like, you know, has he ever had those expansive conversations with anyone in his circle? Do you know what I mean? About aliens or conspiracies and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I speak to him about spirituality. You know, does he have these conversations with anyone else? So you both trigger each other profound awakening and profound growth. And this is the thing as well. You what's to say? Inspiration. You inspire each other to grow. That's another thing about the mirroring, is like you inspire each other to be your best selves. Ask yourself this question. This is a big one. If it's a karmic situation, you're going to go from bad to worse. Like karmic relationships, yes, they teach you things, but oftentimes they make you go downhill. You don't grow. Every time you're wounded, you get worse, and you don't actually, you know, evolve or heal. Whereas even in your twin flame dynamic, there's going to be ghosting, there's going to be back and forth energy. But every time you go into that unworthiness wound, every time you feel like it's going to end, every time you go into that dark night of the soul, you end up coming out bigger and better because of it. Like, I look back now, like when I met my twin flame, I thought I was ready. But I wasn't. And the girl I am now compared to the girl I was the day I met him is so different. I have evolved so much since I met him. And it's not just because of him, but like, I'm on my growth journey, my purpose path anyway. But I think what it is, right? When you touch or taste that true divine unconditional love, it sparks something within you. So no matter how hard things get, no matter how much healing you go through, there's a light always guiding you forward. There's a light always pulling you out of that dark. And it's like their love that's pulling you forward. And that's when I come to the unconditional love part. You will realize that you've never really fucking loved anyone, ever, until you met your twin flame, or until you understood your twin flame. You can love your twin flame before you meet them physically. But until you feel that love, that unconditional, undeniable, soul deep love, that's another sign. It's something so profound. Like, I look back at my past now and I realize I never really loved anyone the way love should be loved effectively, and the way I love my twin flame. That's a different kind of love. So that's another one that you'll see that. And I think it's that love that makes you push yourself forward, that helps you to fight for yourself. Not just fight for divine union, fight for yourself. So your health and everything will get better because of how you look after yourself, because that love inspires you to grow. So both of you are evolving, even though in separation it might look like things are going downhill or things are turbulent. But ask yourself this question: have you improved? Have you evolved? Have you grown? Have you healed since you met your twin flame? or does things keep going from bad to worse? Because if it goes from bad to worse, that's a karmic situation, and that's toxic energy. Whereas if you're literally going into a deep, dark night of the soul and coming out the best self after, that means you're on this growth journey, and your twin flame journey is your growth journey. It's your awakening journey. So what else have we? Heightened emotions. So yeah, the highs and lows, the bipolar effect, effectively. Heightened emotions. You feel everything. You understand everything. Your intuition is spot on. You come online effectively. When you meet your twin flame, or when you connect with your twin flame on the 5D, you come online. Your intuition is loud. Your emotions are loud. Everything is loud. It's like your senses are louder. It's like you can feel more, but more like on a soul level. So yeah, you cry more, you laugh more, you just love more. And this is another thing, actually. When you feel that love for your twin flame, that love exudes out into everything you do. So not only you're feeling that love for them, you eventually start feeling that love for yourself, but then you start to love everything else more. It's like everything becomes shiny. It's like literally, it's like childlike wonder. It's like you go outside and it's like, oh my God, the grass is so green. I love the grass. Do you know what I mean? Your dog, you're like, I look at my dog or my cat every day and I'm like, why? How are you so cute? How? Do you know what I mean? So it's like you literally start looking at everything for its beauty. Everything is shiny, everything is magical, everything is just sparkly and unicorny all the time. Like it really is. It's like you're just going around in this love buzz energy. You know, it is, and I think you get to appreciate things more when you do that as well. You just appreciate life more. You appreciate all these little things more. You appreciate everything more. Like even eating your dinner, it's just like, this tastes so good today. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like this newfound heightened love and awareness and feelings for everything. So so the eerie synchronicities. So the coincidences. There's no such thing as coincidences. How you met, like how me and my twin flame met was so random, so fucking random. Like I was getting my broadband in and literally it was cancelled so many times because I live in the countryside, and it's always a random person that comes out and does it. So for it to be cancelled so many times, and then for him to be the one that arrived at my front door, the universe literally delivered him to my front door. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's like, how did this even happen? How can something like that happen? It's magical. So like, there's also like, you can have similar pasts, similar things happening. So like, you know, me and my twin flame, we're like the opposite on paper. But when you look back on what we've been through, we have the same trauma, the same kind of trauma from childhood and past relationships. There's similarities, might look different on the surface, but there's a lot of similarities. A lot of what he went through, I went through, even though it was different, it's the same wounds. What else? What other synchronicities? Like, so you'll see that a lot of your past, as I said, will have aligned. A lot of things that you say and do are aligned. There are certain things that just major, I don't know, I think the synchronicity, and one synchronicity for me, for example, is that he drives a company van, and I see that van from time to time, and it's just like, you know, I left my house at this time, drove to this place, and at this exact moment that van pulled out. There's that. There was another time actually, I was walking, I was in the shop, and there was a day in the shop, the lady in front of me was rustling through change in her purse. And I was sitting there going, Jesus, you know, like, hurry up, like. And I was delayed by about 5 minutes. And then as I was walking out of the supermarket, I walked past two guys talking to each other. And one of them said the other guy's name, which is my twin flame's name. So I was delayed in order to walk past these people at the exact same time, or the exact time that they said my twin flame's name. I'm like, okay, that's proper synchronicity. So there's lots of different things that will be very synchronistic in your journey. There's no such thing as coincidence, none whatsoever. And another thing is signs. So you'll see repeating numbers, like you'll see 111, 222, all those numbers. You'll see their name all the time. Like I've not only seen my twin flame's first name, I've seen his first and last name together. More than once I've seen his full name. There's I see his birth date everywhere as well. I see the date we met everywhere. There's shared dreams. They come to you in dreams and give you messages. there's that telepathic communication as well. So like, you'll know more about your twin flame, not from conversations on the 3D, but on telepathic conversations. I think that's the weirdest thing. Like, I've actually seen proof of things that I've thought about his life, predicted about his life. I've actually seen proof of it, and I'm like, oh my God, I was right. I'll have these downloads over and over again, and then I'll see a picture of him online, and I'm like, oh my God, I knew that was going to happen. Do you know what I mean? And it's so weird. So I actually know what's going on in his life, even though we're not in 3D contact. So what else? Trigger, awakening, growth. Oh yeah, the runner-chaser dynamic. So the runner-chaser dynamic is the big one. The back and forth energy. Like, if you were just if you were just soulmates with your twin flame, the two of you would be married by now. You would. You'd be living together, married with kids. It would have been so easy. Whereas with the runner-chaser dynamic, the twin flame connection is so different to a 3D connection. You are supposed to do the inner work, the inner healing, and all that stuff before union can properly happen. Now, I've seen this there's some twin flames I know that have actually been in connection before they even knew what that they were spiritual or that they had a soul. So I've actually seen double unawakened twin flames be in connection for donkey's years and not even know they're twin flames. And then they actually go through the transformation within the relationship, and they end up in separation, and then they go back in union. It happens like that. But like for us twin flames that say for me and my twin flame, I was awakened and he wasn't. In fact, I think he was though. He was starting to awaken. So like for a dynamic like that, like we've been on and off for 2 years, and like, there's that runner chaser dynamic. Like, in fairness, when we first met, it was perfect. Do you know what I mean? The back and forth, it was like our conversations, our connection, it was so good. It was so easy. Oh my God, it was lovely. And then I triggered him, and he took a step back, and ever since it's been literally like he's pulled back more and more and more. But why would you pull back? Why would you pull back if this is your person? You pull back because of the fear, and you both do. You're both running. You know what I mean? So you're running from the intensity of the connection. As I said, if this was a regular 3D connection, we'd be living together right now. But because it's a twin flame dynamic, there's that runner chaser energy. There's that back and forth energy all the time. So that's another one that you'll see. Is like if it's easy, if you're not triggered, that's a soulmate. If it's really difficult and nothing is getting better, that's a karmic. But if it's really difficult back and forth energy, but you're evolving into your best self, that's your twin flame. So there's that side of things. And there's major, major life changes that will happen as well. And the life changes that happen are major, not just for your twin flame journey, but for your spiritual awakening journey as well. So the next video I do next week will be about the life changes, the kind of side effects of meeting your twin flame. What happens in your life? What changes in your life? And that's a big thing. You know what I mean? There's so many things that I went through after this journey. And I'm like, I remember, as I said, I had done research before I'd ever put any of this into practice. Like, I was reading stuff about spiritual awakening, about ascension symptoms and all this. I was like, nah, that won't happen, that won't happen, that won't happen, that won't happen. And now I read through it all, and I was like, yeah. And it's just like, your 3D self will look at these symptoms, and if they haven't happened already, you will say, never, that will never happen, no way, man. And it's just like, then you go through them and you're like, oh, I was wrong, everything happened. So if you are having doubts about your twin flame connection, those are kind of some of the signs that you'll know that they're your, and it's like this knowing anyway. Like, obviously for me, it took me about a year to fully, it took me a few months to see that he was my twin flame, but it took about a year for me to realize, to believe it, to actually really believe it, because I was in such doubt. So it does take a long time, and it takes a lot of signs and synchronicities for us to actually believe in it. But I think the true sign comes from within. And what I do find as well is, when I'm having doubts or anything like that, my twin flame will show me signs, and he'll come to me in dreams, or he'll just show me a sign or synchronicity, and that's how I believe. But I think it's a deep inner knowing. Anyone who doubts that they're in it, it's very normal to doubt. But ask yourself, is this helping me grow? has this transformed me? Was it an instant recognition? Was it a coincidence or really random how we met? You know, have I changed? Have my emotions changed? Have I been triggered into really awakening up to myself? You know, do I feel them on a telepathic level? You know, are they giving me messages and dreams? All of these things are really big signs that you are on the twin flame journey. There are other ones as well. So as I said, my next video will be about the side effects, the kind of major life changes we go through. Because when you do meet your twin flame, as I said, you go through a spiritual awakening. That awakening is a transformation. So people who don't understand the word spiritual, we're all spiritual beings living a human experience. So an awakening out of that 3D life, an awakening out of that conditioning. So yeah, the next, what I'll be talking about next is literally what happens in your life, kind of what values change for you, what things change in your environment, stuff like that. So that'll be my next video. So just start to trust what you feel. I think trust your intuition, because your intuition is getting louder, but trust deep down that when you know, you know. But I think one of the biggest ones, and I'll say this again, is, are you growing? Are you evolving? Because if it's a karmic dynamic, you're not going to evolve. Though the wounds and the triggers and the pain that you go through on a karmic situation, you literally deteriorate. When you're in a toxic dynamic for too long, your body, your mind, and your soul ends up deteriorating. So if you're actually getting through every healing cycle better and better and better and better and better, like, that's a true sign you're with your twin flame or in your twin flame connection. Because I remember the day I met him compared to who I am now, I don't even recognize who I am now compared to who I was. I'm so much better and so much more evolved, so much more confident, and I love myself more. You know what I mean? I had so many wounds, so many insecurities, and his, you know, his presence, his behavior really has triggered me into loving myself more. Yes, it triggered me into hating myself at one stage, and you know, my unworthiness wound was majorly triggered over and over again. But every single time I've worked through it, I've learned to love myself more. So if you're loving yourself more, and if you are evolving every single day, that's a true sign that you've met your twin flame and that you're on this awakening journey. So yeah, I think that's the biggest one for me anyway. Have you evolved? Have you grown? Have you learned through your healing? You know, have you gotten better through your healing, or are you getting worse? That's one of the biggest ones for me. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today. Nothing more than to help on your path. Also, I have another channel called Aligning with Angie, where I share a guided meditation every week. The info for that is in the description box. And if you, I'm hosting a free feminine empowerment workshop on Wednesday, the 17th of June at 6 p.m. Ireland UK time. If you want information, that's for us ladies to get together and support each other. If you want information for that, please comment below.